Ooh, we are recording. Ooh, you've caught me in the middle of sanitizing my area. Good morning.
I wasn't gonna ask,
You
and
weren't
then
going to ask what?
what I caught you in the middle of. It
Can you
was
hear? Can you hear like swiping noises? You probably did
yes,
earlier.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm swiping. What's funny? What's funny? I
Nothing.
gotta do the mix again. Okay. Alex is quiet. Check, 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 check. Talk a little, please.
I can talk. I'm
Okay.
your
Okay.
profile.
Yeah, I was sanitizing my area.
Oh, what is your area though? Is it all of your desk? You know what? I apologize. I
No,
made
it's all
you.
right.
That was your
I'm
desk.
happy to talk
What's your
about it.
area?
I think about the worst thing you can do to a person is pour a Coke on their head. I didn't realize this until one day in jest, because when you're a teen, you get a little silly sometimes. And we were having like kind of a Coke fight. Me and my friend and my girlfriend were kind of having a Coke fight title where you just kind of shoot Coke at each other or like shoot it out of a straw. And like those things, like a pillow fight with cheerleaders, it tends to escalate until somebody loses the top. And in this instance, my friend Todd took his large Arby's cup of Coke and poured it on my head. And no, it's funny. It's just that what Todd didn't know and what I had not fully inhabited as part of my Weltanschauung is that I hate the stickiness of a Coke being poured on my head. It's made me realize I don't like being sticky.
No. Well, that's the issue with a pillow fight is once the top comes off,
Yeah.
you might find something you might learn
Like if
something
you've gone to
you want
Michigan,
to. And the
they take them both off at once. Because are you ever briefly asymmetrical?
the,
I imagine they've worked that out in the routine of things.
the
Is there such a thing as middle surgery?
it's oh no, I almost made a fat joke, which if
Good for you.
thank
Good for you and good for you. So what I do is I do a thing. I often do it on Monday mornings, but as it happened, I needed today because I noticed in my hands, I didn't like the interaction surface that I was having with my devices, and that tells me it's time to take out the what percent do I use? I take out the isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel, and I turn off my devices and I clean. Here's one thing I do. I take my keyboard and I turn it off, right, and I go. Right? And I bang it upside down to get all the detritus out.
Oh,
And so now the
that's
keyboard...
a fancy way to say your gross skin cells and all of the oil.
How do you say it?
The gross skin oil and flakes.
I don't know if it gets the oil out.
Well, you got your
I'm not John
alcohol.
Syracuse.
Fair.
And so I do that, and then I have a desk. I think it's called a desk pad. I have a thing here on my descal area, but when I say desk, I'm referring to a table that I stole in the 80s. But it's a large table that let's say 6 or so students could enjoy a meal around, hypothetically. And then what I do is I've got a pad, which is, I don't know, it's probably 3 feet wide, 18 inches high, something like that. And it's just a nice little like pad on top of it gives me a little bit of, it gives me a little pad. Do you know what I'm talking about? You ever have a little pad?
Yes.
Yeah, a little pad. And then I got my keyboard and I've got my touchpad, and I clean all of those. I take them off and then I clean the pad itself. And then at the end, as a little treat, I pour a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on my hands. And then that gets rid of all the finger oils on my hands.
Hey,
And
all
I'm
right.
ready to record with Alex. Bob's your uncle. Or aunt. Or they.
The do you think that the way I'm trying to think of this as a stickiness threshold because you didn't do it on Monday. What triggered the Wednesdayness? What did you have a sticky incident or a lack of a sticky incident?
No. It's a good and silly question. It's just because it needed to be done. It's not a question of
everything profound because everything isn't everything, but that's very good.
Well, I mean, the doing it on Monday is just mainly because, like, well, I guess I haven't done it for a few days. I haven't been at the office as much over the weekend usually. And then that's just kind of when it occurs to me. And then I try to do just kind of a light reset at the Descal area to like just kind of move away things I don't need to be there, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Do you do things like that? Do you have habitual things that help you do a little reset?
Yes, but it's more of a daily thing. I think I've
That's okay.
a stickiness threshold. In fact, I'm
Did
shocked.
I make up that term? Because I think you made up that term.
I probably.
How do you feel about being sticky? If Todd had poured a large Coke on your head, would that have upset you? Do you hate being sticky? I hate being sticky.
Absolutely. The way you said, "Oh, the worst thing you can do is to pour a Coke," and someone said,
There's probably
I was
worse
like,
things.
No, it's
Like in the 30s, they probably did worse things. But like
I
at the
mean,
time, at an Arby's where they
we
both
ended
worked, yeah, we had a Coke fight.
But I realized that just the that concept it upset me so much. I was like, no, it's not. Like it's not that sticky because to me, Coke just doesn't exist. The concept of soda
Coke
that
doesn't exist.
it,
Have you really thought about what that means?
it means that if now I'm thinking about it, you know that like aisle in the grocery store that has a side that is just the pop that isn't.
Yeah, they do sell soft drinks in grocery stores mostly.
Yes, they do.
Sometimes more than one.
And there's I'm told at one point there was an entire aisle, but to me there's that cardboard silver box with the red writing on it, and that's the only thing. It's like I'm in a liminal space
Was it full of
until
mercury? What is it?
a Diet Coke box.
Oh.
There.
You like it better than Coke Zero?
Yeah. Yes. I do.
People who care do care, right? Like there are people who have strong opinions about that, right?
Yes, I don't have, I don't want to upset anyone. Just for me,
Yeah, that's okay.
if I were to take a sip, I've literally vomited in the past. I just like other things.
But drinking Coke Zero instead of Diet Coke.
Because it would.
How many times do you suppose you vomited because of a soft drink? Just, I mean, like what, 1, 10, 100 times? What is the magnitude?
Well, did it
6
have
times?
alcohol in it? That's because if
Did it have alcohol in it? I don't know. It's your question.
I mean, does
You're
that
the one
count?
who said you vomit when you drink things.
No, I said
No.
I vomited.
Yes.
one time
I
because
thought you said more than one
had,
time.
No.
But the point is, I think, Alex, you've learned to avoid things that make you vomit unless you're curious. Do I still vomit? Can I vomit better? Can I change my intentionality for this vomiting? Do I see myself? Where do I see myself in 5 years? Will I be vomiting?
This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge: declare an intentionality.
You completely nailed it in one. Good job, kid. Now, do you think I should put the funny music before that? No, I mean like at the point where you start doing it, is it funnier to have music or not have music there? I think the music's funny.
I do.
Okay.
I worry that I
In that case,
overdo
this
the
part's
music.
really kind of screwed up. I screwed up. I did that. I just blew all of the velocity of our program.
Yeah, you took a sip of Coke Zero. I can't even
Do
say.
metaphors help you? Because I'm not always sure metaphors help you. Metaphors help me a lot. This week, metaphors really, oh boy, got me into a pickle thinking about this challenge. My head went completely up my ass with this challenge. Not because of what the challenge was and why I proposed it, but in trying to use cromulent English words to describe the subtlety of what 4 different nouns mean. I went crazy doing this.
I asked the difference on the after show.
You
between
did.
an
It's a totally
intention and
salient
intentionality.
question.
And I'm still not sure. I hope you will tell me.
I'll tell you what I can. I've got 4 nouns that, and of course, now I just want to stipulate, like, the difficult part is, you sound like a nut if you say something like, well, it makes sense in my head. another way of putting that makes you sound a little less manic is that there are certain things that happen in your head, and when you try to put it into words, then you end up trying to jam it into whatever those silos are that agree with what other people think that word means. And this is why words are such tricky bastards, but we love them because they're what we've got. And honestly, sometimes language is constantly language is a way of me helping to understand how I got to thinking the way that I do. So what did I write down? I got a typora on this. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, after I turn it off, sometimes it takes a minute to turn back on after it's been sanitized. But I had
issue. It's very frustrating.
Say
Sorry.
Again?
Velocity. I think it's a Tahoe issue. I never had that.
No Tahoe. No Tahoe. No Tahoe. Goal, reason, intention, intentionality. Right? And those are all nouns, right? 4 nouns. You got goals, you got reasons, you got intentions, you got intentionality. And just to follow up from last week, the one you really stumped me on was, what is the difference between an intention? Like, why intentionality? Couldn't we just leave that at intention, right? Was that your question? Something like that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Have you thought much about it?
Yes, because the way that you use words is possibly unique in the...
Literally.
I was going to say, actually unique to the people I speak to and
amongst.
Amongst us. Well,
but amongst the people I'm the one who's fucking it up really weird with words, huh?
Why did you think I was going to say that? No,
otherwise it didn't make sense.
You aren't a person who
So why'd you use the word unique?
That I haven't ever.
Do I misunderstand words, Alex? Is it possible that I'm in the diving bell and the butterfly right now, and I'm not done talking. Stop talking over me. Is it possible that I have 4 different aphasias that just happen to create something that entertains a handful of people? I got a Wernicke aphasia. I got a Broca aphasia. I got an Alex aphasia. Got a tachycardia.
Oh no!
Oh no! That I like it. That's the only thing that makes me feel alive.
I was gonna say, is it
makes it hard to sleep.
Look forward. Oh.
Yeah, my pulse was 80 last night. That's high for sleeping.
Yeah, I get a little poke. That's like.
Sorry, I cut you off. Unique.
No, I was listening and learning.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Train.
Sorry, I can never get my levels right. You're always so quiet, but then I'm still so... You would not believe... Did you know when Descript, which is kind of becoming a little garbagey, but when Descript goes in, and one of the things I have it do automatically is that it levels the 2 tracks that I put in, right? Mm-hmm. And like your track, which is not particularly quiet considering, but it does it to about 200%. It does mine to like 400%. And yet, if I make my gain higher, Jim tells me I'm overdriving.
Huh.
And I don't know who to believe.
I
believe Jim. He is a sax player. Sax players don't lie.
He worked on Frozen. I still can't believe that.
He worked on Frozen.
Didn't he? Wait, maybe I
don't know that. I know that when a few weeks ago when I suggested that Jim add a little sax, he not only added sax, he played the song that I was hoping he would play, and he featured the things I had just said are difficult about a sax.
Oh,
because Careless Whisper, like there's a lot of little slides and glissandos that I think are not easy to do on an alto sax.
That's the...
Jim's great. I love working with Jim. You ever work with Jim? He's the best.
Yes, he is.
Jim Metzendorf. He's a really good guy. Don't hire him because I need him.
Oh God, no one. Please don't. He, I guess he might also have the affliction of Alex aphasia, and I am so appreciative.
It affects 1 in 5 of everyone who knows you.
What is and you are unique in that I think
I'm a special little guy, be honest. Never mind.
Are you
unique? Oh, sorry, continue.
A special little guy.
Words. They're little liars.
But unique, I think I
like the word unique.
Unique is
nobody actually seems to know the name of, literally. Nobody really understands unique.
Unique is
Literally
that
pregnant.
literally just a single. There's literally nothing else like it.
Oh dear.
No. Okay. What does?
Oh no, I'm just trying to avoid literally. Yeah, I think if the easiest way of understanding unique is that amongst say 10 of something, there's one of them that is absolutely not like the others. Like if you had 9 bowling pins and 1 bottle of Rolling Rock, you could say, well, there are similarities. There's definitely like similarities to shape, but the Rolling Rock is unique in that it is not a bowling pin and it will break more easily if hit by a bowling ball. And don't throw it straight down the middle, otherwise you'll get a split. You got to go into the pocket. You got to go into the Brooklyn. You got to into the Brooklyn pocket or the Cincinnati pocket. And that's whether your ball goes into right of the head pin or left of the head pin. The head pin is a cop. That's a quote from a Simpsons episode. 4 onion rings. Okay. Laugh, Marge. Laugh deep. Laugh deep, Marge. You're losing me. Albert Brooks. Continue.
I think that you are both again to my
literal and unique.
My literal lived experience. You are a unique, special little guy. So I believe I'm using it correctly.
Aww.
Yeah.
We should stop right there. That was nice.
You're welcome. What? Start with one of the nouns.
Okay.
Immediately when you said noun, I was gonna make the joke. They are for now, but really, when I hear aesthetic, I can't. I'm like
I've got to stop reading. I've got to stop reading, Alex, and I've got to stop listening to people because it's starting to become extremely distracting to me how people abuse parts of speech. And like, it's making me so unhappy because we're now at a point where there are parts of speech that have been double distorted, double Baudelarized. Like, there's that phrase, the fucking Guardian, my newspaper of choice, still will use shock in the way that like a British tabloid would. Like if you remember on The Office when Gareth says shock, horror, da-da-da-da. Shock used to be a verb where you'd say somebody has been shocked by something. Shock could also be a noun where you say that like somebody has received a shock from this electrical outlet or something like that. But shock is now shock is now used as an adjective instead of shocking.
Okay.
Like a shock headline, which in England means something slightly different from here. Or as they would say, different too. Shock. The parts of speech
but
thing.
As an adjective, is it trying to? This is what I mean when someone is like, "Oh, that's aesthetic," and
it's
I'm
giving
like,
shock.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
So the Guardian is shock maxing.
Oh
it's not
no!
even funny.
Shock
I don't.
maxing is funny. Ooh.
No, it's already not a. Be overplayed.
Do you always use 2 X's? You always use 2 X's so people know you're being funny, right? If you're jaw maxing or looks maxing or shock maxing, like you always use 2 X's to show that it's a jokey Gen X thing, right? Not Gen X. Which one are the bad ones? Z. To show it's a Gen Z thing.
Or why are they bad? Are they bad now? Should I be just? I'm sorry. I'm listening. I'm learning.
You know what you're giving right now? You're giving feigned surprise.
Why
do people say that? Why do they say the giving thing? It sounds so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like, again, people on the internet cannot stop vaguely trying to impersonate young black women, and it's not a good look.
That yes.
Nobody talks about it, but that's what it comes down to. Is we've been swiping little bits of jargon from black people for a long time, but like there's a lot of stuff inside like black lady or black lady blogger influencer culture that like everybody says now, and it's
this is
you know what it is, Alex. To use an old fashioned term, it's cringeworthy. Because cringe is a verb.
Because
cringe is not a noun, and cringe is not an adjective.
We see different things because this it is not just discussed, but like I think looked down upon. And
because you look at the internet more than I do. You're always looking at the internet and you're
I mean,
gleaning all this little
internet.
bits, just enough information to be slightly confused about what you think.
No, the internet.
No.
You have stopped using internet
I do
the
that.
way you don't know what internet means anymore.
think
You
I
say
don't.
internet, and I'm like, you're just saying X, right? You're just
The internet is
because
just generally where people can just say whatever, including news.
yes, and yeah, there's more on the internet. What does
I know
what
you've got
is-
all your chat groups and your apps.
I mean, is that the internet? I
You
don't
want to talk
know.
about the challenge?
Well, you've got 4 verbs.
Typically, when somebody asks you a yes or no question, it's considered decorous to reply with yes or no. Did you want to talk about the challenge now?
Yes, please. But
No, it's enumerate. Oh my God! Here, you just run the show. I'll just sit here and you can just tap me whenever you want because you do such a good job of keeping us on track. Please continue.
I'm listening, learning, and I want to talk about the challenge. But I also really want to know about the 4 nouns.
Well, that's going to be part of the challenge, Alex. That's why I'm bringing us to that part of the program. And that way you won't have to worry about whether I'm unique. We'll move on to something else, and then we could talk about that for a while.
See, look at now. I'm tapping you. I'm tapping. I'm listening.
Now, is that
I'm
a sex thing? Would you tap that?
No. What? No. No.
I saw a headline that says somebody asked Stephen Fry whether he's a top or bottom, and I refused to click it. That's just, who's that for? Why are you asking Stephen Fry that? And what does it mean? And don't tell me. The challenge this week, as you so eloquently described earlier in the program, was to declare an intentionality.
Yes.
And I was talking about it. You know what? I'm going to be real. And I'm going to tell you when this occurred to me and when I realized that it applies to lots of different stuff. Sometimes I have a marijuana, and sometimes I'll have a marijuana edible. Sometimes I'll have a marijuana smokable. And when I say sometimes, I mean pretty often. But I started doing a thing, which is before I intook whatever that thing was, I would try to find myself thinking about, okay, and after I do this, what's going to happen? What am I going to do with this? And I realized that it's so difficult to talk about it because it's brain stuff. An easier example might be going on a trip you don't want to go on. Like, I don't like going on trips. And so sometimes I have found it useful. What I've reverse engineered is that an intentionality is a way of saying, here's how I'd like to conduct myself while I'm working on doing this part of my life. After I take this edible, what do I expect? Well, am I just gobbling drugs so I can be fucked up? Or like, what do I see this doing for me? What do I imagine myself doing and being in a different way? And that's, if you prefer, the trip analogy works too. But then I found myself getting caught up on these 4 nouns. Should we talk about this now?
Yes, please.
Did you have anything else before I dive into this? I mean, talk all you want, but I figure we get the 4 nouns out of the way because I think it's interesting to talk about the 4 nouns because it's a weird Venn diagram that I have trouble describing.
Give me the weird Venn diagram.
Okay, one thing I think I said that's kind of smart earlier this week. I was on a podcast with a friend of mine who just returned from a trip overseas, and he was talking about how like there wasn't really like a reason for the trip. Or I forget how he put it, but there wasn't like, it's not like we're going to Ireland because X. And I was postulating that can be kind of confusing. And the way I tried to describe it was, well, because in that case, that trip that they planned had neither a goal nor a reason, which I realize seems subtle. But when you think about why we do things, what motivates us, or how we find ourselves doing things, I do think there's a distinction between a goal and a reason. So like the goal of the trip, the reason might be somebody died and we're going to a funeral. The reason might be I got hired to do a gig at this thing. That is the reason for that. But to me, a goal of a trip can be different. A goal of a trip might be let's go visit colleges and hope that gives our young person more clarity about where they'd like to go to college. That's a goal. And it is also, I guess inarguably, it's also a reason. But doesn't it feel like there's a slight difference, for example, between goals and reasons? I think of a goal as a desirable outcome, And I think of a reason as an instantiating factor to want to set that goal.
This is where I got tripped up with
For real?
challenge.
Did you really
And-
find yourself thinking about this stuff?
Genuinely, from the
Yeah.
time, was like, all right, if I'm going to decide, like declare an intentionality to myself, like what is the reason for why I want that, and also what even can I control that reason, like or is it just a
Was there anything on your mind in terms of what you might be talking about? Like, did you, because an easy way to get frustrated I've found is to go like, I mean, you can start with the words or you can start with a thing. So like your thing could be, all right, I'm going to go declare an intentionality for buying groceries this afternoon, or I'm going to declare an intentionality for reading this book, or like whatever that is. But it's really pretty easy to find yourself kind of tripping over the semantics of or semiotics even of all of that, right?
Yeah, I still really have not figured out what is like how to declare an intentionality for myself. Like, and I intend
Right.
to, and then I'm like, wait, is the intention just a hope? And
I think I mean
or-
intention. Okay, I'll just finish these. Sorry, I guess I'm being dumb. I like goal versus project to me goal versus reason of the four nouns is the easiest to grok a distinction on to me. If you really think about it, you can think about how you use it in a sentence. And a lot of people maybe wouldn't use different words for that. Goal, reason, intention, intentionality. Goal, like what is the state that I want this to? What is my desirable outcome? If you like in a GTD sense, like if this project succeeds, this thing will have improved in the world. And again, the reason to me, what's the reason for doing this? What's the reason for this project? What's the reason for this trip? That strikes me as a change in the world that might lead me to want to create a goal state. Then we get into intentionality, and this is where it gets complicated. I think at least
it genuinely did break my brain a little bit.
Right. And just to be clear, I think this is a word that has become fraught for all the right reasons, in my opinion. Intention. Okay, well, does it become less confusing? Let's say intentionality means how I'm going to conduct myself on the way to this goal. Intention, though, how does intention become fraught? Oh, I'm sorry I offended you. I didn't intend to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm inclined to join a lot of the other allies and say, well, I don't fucking care what you intended to do. You want to make it about what you intended to do. Even though I have no way of proving that you had thought about it at all in terms of what your intention was, but you want an easy out of being a shitheel by saying you didn't intend anything by that. I didn't intend to hurt anybody's feelings. I didn't intend to tell. And we all do that. That's totally normal. And on the face of it, at the most superficial level, it's probably true and probably does make sense. You did not set out. You didn't intend to be hurtful or even hateful in what you said to somebody. But that and your intention in $6, that'll buy you a cup of coffee. No, I don't fucking care what your intention was or what you claim your intention was, because you fucked up. And instead, why don't you instead say that was a shitty thing to say? I shouldn't have said that, right? So that's why I think intention has become fraught. Intentionality, like I say, if the goal is here's an outcome I want to see in the world. The reason for that, what instantiated that, or like what, I don't know what better word there is for that, but what's the reason for wanting to have that goal? Intentionality, we'll come back to this challenge. To me, is how you conduct yourself on the way to a goal, despite the reason, usually. But intention is hard. And the closest I got is if intentionality is how you'll conduct yourself, your intention is why that goal state is desirable. What are the conditions of the world that make you imagine that goal state will be an improvement? Is that possible? Well, tell me what you think. When you struggled with this, what did you come up with?
The way that you say goal state still feels, I mean, like we're talking about not talking about two different things.
Okay. How about this? The reason I'm going to the grocery store is we're out of toilet paper. The goal state for going to the grocery store is getting toilet paper and bringing it home. Is that overly simplified? The reason is we're out of toilet paper and I need to take a shit. And then the goal is to get toilet paper successfully.
Right. My thing was tripping up. I was tripping up between intention and intentionality, but also then my own personal like declaring an intentionality, struggling with whether or not my reasons for wanting that goal state, like why I wanted them, or if I should, not necessarily like the definition, but or like I just. When thinking about, like you said, intention.
Can I give an example just to like for contrast?
What's also an intention? Yes, give an example. But I'm thinking of an example. Like, what's an example of not the I did not intend to do that thing. I just answered my own question. Never mind.
It would normally be something like where you're like I say, unintentionally a word I use a lot, hurtful, where you might say something like, I really like this actor's performance in this movie, especially because they're not a big fat pig. And like to you, you're saying, oh, I just want to talk about how much I like this actor. And instead, you said something kind of crummy that ends up having blowing back a lot of hurtfulness on a lot of people without really illuminating what you're saying more. That's a dumb example, but that's one off the dome, kind of.
Yes.
You don't sweat much for a fat girl. I meant it as a compliment. I didn't intend to hurt your feelings. What? What'd I say? What'd I say? Oh, I'm sorry everyone's so offended. I didn't intend to do that.
I'm just thinking of a specific movie that...
But there's a funny thing that I've realized that as much as I'm still not, I don't know. I don't think I've come up to a level like Webster's Dictionary level of concision about what all this means. But I do, in a funny way, what I'm realizing as I think about it more in a practical way, less in terms of trying to document this for people who don't have my brain, but more in terms of my own practicality. I do end up seeing then a little bit of circle of life stuff where intentionality then and intention do roll back around to the importance of the goal and the reason in a way that I think is kind of intriguing. Where like, if you find yourself going, oh, this is silly, you guys are really overthinking toilet paper, fair enough. But you then do find yourself, let me give you an example. Can I give you an example? Here's an example. We're chock-a-block with examples of this in the world of comedy. And for some reason, I'm thinking of the American version of The Office. This is just one example. But I don't know if you ever watched The Office, if you're a fan, but there's a funny bit in one of the middle-ish seasons, early to middle season. It's pretty early on, but where Michael Scott decides to put on a fun run, a charity fun run. But of course it's named after him. And I think it's not because he burned his foot, but it's because of something dumb he did that he felt like he needed to do this charity event. And it's like, so on the face of it, you say to somebody, well, the goal is we're going to have a run and that money's going to go to charity. I think almost anybody would look at that and just on the face of it with facts and evidence, you would say, well, that seems like a good idea. But what was his intention with doing that? You could even bring in phrases I like, are you doing it with an open heart? Are you doing it with kindness? Are you doing it with, and that's what makes The Office, both offices, UK and US, so funny, is that Michael Scott is so uniquely terrible at doing the wrong thing at the wrong time for the wrong reasons and thinking he's doing a great job. And that creates humor for us. But does that help at all? Like to think about like, are you doing it for the right reasons? Oh, you remember that quote from The Crown that I like? There's a quote in an early season of The Crown. It doesn't really matter, but I think it might be the Queen maybe talking to her sister, or I forget who she's talking to. But it's one of the numerous very good episodes, and it could be Olivia Colman. The point is, there's 2 or 3 very good episodes that whatever the subject of the episode was, the log line becomes the Queen does kind of a terrible job at trying to comfort the country. Right? It happened with Aberfan, with the Welsh mining disaster. It's very much happened with the death of Princess Diana, where the Queen's like, that's not our job. It's not our job to go out there. Our job is to be up here and to be unflappable. That's what I have been trained at for 40 years is like not cracking. And then people come in and somebody like Tony Blair comes in and calls her the people's princess, and everybody likes him when he says that. But she feels like that's outside her remit. But anyway, in one of the episodes, I'm going to try to quote this and I'll get it wrong, but she said, and I do really think about this, when the Crown says something, there are at least like 3 questions that we need to ask ourselves. Why am I saying this? Well, like, why is this being said? But like, why am I saying this? And why am I saying this now? Which might sound like a kind of a brusque way to think about a country in pain. But to be dead honest, I've found that a useful thing to ask myself as a man. Because men and other bad people, title, do a thing where they think they're trying to help and they don't realize they're merely just mostly exercising kind of lame power. Mm-hmm. Because they don't realize that they're not doing it. They think they're intending to do it to be supportive, but they end up being kind of a shit. Here's a good example. I don't know if any of you know any women, but there's a thing that you could say to somebody meaning to be supportive that I've learned is not a good thing to say to anyone, including women and other people. You look tired. Have you ever met a woman who likes being told she looks tired? I haven't.
You ended her with
But go with me on the bit, Alex. Go with me on the bit. If you tell a woman in particular that she looks tired, they don't take that well, in my experience. Even if, not especially if, but even if your intention was to say, I care about you and love you and you should probably get more rest, can I help support that plan? That might be what you intend to say, but what it comes off as is you don't look pretty. Do you see the distinction in the disconnect around the intention, the nominal intention of that? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you had the intentionality of only offering things that somebody could use or want, but doing it in a kind and not hurtful way, to me, that's an intentionality. Maybe selfishly, that's how I look at it. Is like, well, first of all, people don't really need my advice. They've never really needed my advice. They need me to shut the fuck up and listen. That's what most people need more than anything else. But like, if I start dive bombing in as a man, especially, I start dive bombing in with unsolicited advice about stuff they don't actually want or need help with. And then I couch that in terms of saying, you don't look pretty right now. And like, we can problematize this and get all weird about it, but every single fucking one of you knows what I'm talking about. There's a reason that observational humor includes things like, do these jeans make my butt look big? To which you will never respond. If you respond to that, you're going to have problems unless your relationship is predicated on an honest discussion of whether these jeans or those jeans make me look better or worse. Because it's like saying, have you stopped beating your wife or spouse? Yes or no? Well, it's considered decorous.
God damn it.
But doesn't that get into part of it, though? I mean, words are little bastards, but also our minds are difficult to graph. They're slippery. Even in the best of cases, it's slippery to talk about things like intention.
Just last night, I ended up having, I got like a 3-hour conversation about a talk that a friend of mine gave at a conference recently that she was talking about one of my favorite combinations, gender and AI, and how a lot of developers are like, oh, I intend to be more open-minded. I have intended to try this new thing. And it's exactly what you're saying. That
I intend to appear more open-minded.
Yes. And
that's what a lot of them mean. Yeah. I intend to perform that in a way that won't have an impact on how I actually prefer to work.
Yeah. But
I'll be careful not to. It's like giving Claude hooks for stops. Like, don't say this phrase. Okay, I won't say that phrase, but I'm still thinking that phrase, fatty. No fat chicks.
Claude's so tired, so very tired.
What was the
and
what? I don't want to blow up the person's spot, but what kind of an environment? What was it? A conference or something doing this talk?
yeah, it was at a conference here in Chicagoland, as people in the suburbs say it. Deep Dish Swift, which is about the programming language Swift for macOS, iOS, and all the great Apple programs. But
You should get that new Black Magic camera for doing Vision Pro.
the
It's very affordable.
it's very
You can probably check it out from the library or something. I bet they'll make a bunch of them.
uh
How much is it? Did you see it?
isn't it
Isn't it like
20,000?
surprisingly expensive?
It's I remember a filmmaker friend was like, well, I could do that or pay off my mortgage, and so that is it's
Yeah, but
it's the amount of money
you could
where-
videotape basketball games and 6 people, including Marco, would watch it once.
it does look very cool.
I like Black Magic stuff a lot.
Oh God, the
I got a Black
switches
Magic camera and I
alone.
like it a lot.
The oh really? Is it which one?
Saved for the show. I bought it during the You Look Nice Today COVID era, where I thought I would be doing a ton more video, and I blew ridiculous numbers of cycles on trying to create a pro video environment in a very constrained space, and it was a bad idea.
How
ended
many
up-
LUTs did you end up
Oh,
making?
so many LUTs. I have Wes Anderson the shit out of some You Look Nice Today. I've made everything orange and blue. I've done all the things. I've made it look like. You ever look at AP Bio? You ever see that show AP Bio? You ever seen the color grading on that show?
No.
Oh my God, just go search for AP Bio and just for any still image from it. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I mean, it's almost like a Martin Scorsese Aviator level of what are you trying to accomplish here? That is not how golf courses do. Anyways,
Ooh, I
I'm
see
sorry.
What they're trying to do. Don't.
I'm sorry I stopped
like
you. I
it.
blew up. I'm sorry. But the person was talking at the Swift, a Big Apple, Little
Deep Dish
Apple,
Swift.
Porkopolis Swift.
But her whole talk was about the how scary transitions are, and
Yeah.
what I was. It was very good. And then we ended up talking for 3 hours with me giving actual solicited feedback, different than what I text people often about their podcasts.
Jesus Christ.
What? I love
You
giving
have
unsolicited
so
feedback.
many interactions with people every day that I don't know about.
No,
It's
because
bizarre
my-
how many, unless you are literally telling me exactly the number of people you talk to each week, which is sensible. But like, if this is just a snapshot of how often you're talking to people about content, it makes me kind of depressed. I couldn't do that. I couldn't talk to people about content that much. Was this
by
after the talk? Did you guys go out for a beverage and talk about it for 3 hours?
Yes. And
Did you pay them compliments?
yes.
Good.
And she shared a quote that I used to really like.
You're saying she so much that I know it's a trans person.
The wait, what? Oh
it's
yeah,
a
because it was
tell.
a tech
It's a-
conference. Yeah, yeah.
No. You wish.
No?
It's just a tell that you have, where you greedily use certain kinds of pronouns in certain kinds of situations, and it's almost always a switch 'em up.
Is it, or is it that
Gender's
I
a switch 'em up. Have you ever read?
Yeah.
You ever read any Judith Butler?
I think you're
What about M. Guessin?
made a
I'm going to keep you M. Guessing.
I haven't. You took my
I
God
stole it.
damn
I'm sorry.
Damn it.
I wheezed your juice again. I'm sorry.
The
Gender,
no, I'm
AI and gender. Continue.
I think I'm. It's I not only
We got to get through this. We got to get through this.
okay. When I say she, I think it's because
Just finish the fucking story.
No, I don't enjoy the quote "jump and the net will appear." I used to really like
Yeah.
that,
That's
and
an unusual
I'm
sentence.
what?
I don't enjoy the phrase "jump in the net will appear."
Yeah, I hear that, and I'm like, I guess it's
Because
like all right.
transitions. They're difficult. It's true. Transition. I had a baby, and transition time's the hardest time, and that's what made me learn transition times are the hardest time for everybody. regardless of what the transition is, because you're in a liminal state. You're between two ferns.
The
good fern, the bad fern, early fern, late fern. Did you know Sam Campbell did a TEDx talk in a turtleneck?
Really?
Like 10 years ago. TEDx Melbourne.
Oi, that's not what they say in Melbourne. What
No.
I think that for a second?
That's
No,
okay.
no,
It's
no.
a protectorate. You're a protectorate.
A protectorate.
I don't know if that's the right word. It used to be part of the empire, governor.
That's true. Well, wait, was it part of did they consider it part of the empire, or was it just a
No, they just decided to put the British flag on their flag just out of deference.
but I mean, like, was there things to do there other than be in their
A giant
jail?
prison?
Yeah, exactly. That's like
Well, prisons still belong to countries, Alex.
it's true.
We haven't always had these kind of freelance jails we have now.
That's kind of
They used to have people that run them
wondering
into the ground.
oh,
Sherman Tans.
oh.
Love Sherman Tans. How about Armando
His
Iannucci?
daughter does
believe-
not look
Oh, my
tired.
God,
you know
I
what
love her.
mean? She still doesn't look tired.
We'll talk
Oh,
about Taskmaster in the after show.
yes.
I need to find a worm. I have to find a worm.
The
Clatterbottom. I love when Greg says Clatterbottom. He's so funny. Isn't he funny? Isn't he funny at bits?
I mean, yes, but I think he's when I say least funny, there's no way to say that. There's so many things about.
You think he's
that
funnier in
show.
other things?
No. Well, yes, but
You disagree with me. That's fine.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I think he's great at bits, but I think that that's not what makes that show special. And
Oh, because only one thing can be true.
no, it's that the reason
You didn't
I say-
intend to offend me.
I did not intend to. I did intend to contradict
Calling
you.
me fat.
Just tired. The
Look at me. I'm skinny. It never stopped me from getting busy. I'm a freak. Like the girls with the boom. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. Allow me to amaze thee.
Oh,
They say I'm ugly, but it just don't faze me.
all right. Now that you've lapped into verse, is what rap song is this?
Humpty Hump. It's called the Humpty Dance. Make it work.
I just wanted my whole week, including last night, was like, how many things do I intend to do? I tell myself that I will intend to do this thing, and really, truly don't declare an intentionality, because that would
Right. It's a very new. We're introducing a new thought technology to the way most people process things, for sure.
Yeah, and well, and with the quote that I hate, jump in the net will appear. I'm like, that is a thing people say because they intend to jump, but they don't intend to think about the consequences of it. And I mean, I don't know.
They intend to jump.
Yeah, you intend. To
there's
make
a reason why they're thinking about jumping. And jumping here doesn't mean
yes.
not in a self-harm way, but in a like kind of putting your back into the idea of like, let's get going with this transition, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't. I think that I am too generous with people's intentions, and the example that I think the great example that you keep sharing is, I did not intend to
Offend you. Yeah.
And because words mean things.
Well, then what did you intend to do, sir? You know, the absence of intention is not an intention.
And I think because we are supposed to have intentions, and we are supposed to have intentions and goals, which are two different things. But I'm talking about myself. I think like because I conflate them for myself, I am too generous with intentions, and that's why I started thinking and crashing out, as they say, about the idea
Oh, are
of
you cooked?
intentionality, because I'm so cooked.
Yeah, six,
Because
seven.
you can't really escape an
Giving six, seven.
intentionality. I think if you're like, if I sit down and I am honest about an intentionality, there's really no like excuse or like a fail state, because sure, I did not. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not intend to do that. But if it's if your intentionality really isn't to hurt someone, you really need to think about beyond the. I mean, I don't know, the verb of. It is hard to talk about because I'm avoiding talking about brain stuff, and just I don't know, having an intentionality and declaring that I would not want to have marijuana and start thinking about that, because then you really gotta just really, oh, I don't like the word marinate, but I
So many
guess you
things you don't like.
need
Can
to.
can I break this whole thing
I
for
don't
you?
like intentions. I really, I think I don't like the idea of intentions anymore.
I think goals are at best overrated. And I think the way the goals have been presented to me over my life, they were not the unalloyed good that a lot of people tried to present them as being. But I mean, what I knew, and again, I can't persuade you guys about what's happened in my life. I can't like show you the footnotes for it, but like at every stage, I feel like I've been constantly browbeaten about goals, about not having the right goal, certainly as a result, like not achieving the goal. We'll leave it for a moment to one of my load bearing beliefs in life is that goals that were given to you by other people are goals you oughtn't just take at face value and decide to run with. Anybody who's ever disappointed their parents for not being good at sports in a way that you couldn't even talk about because they didn't intend to hurt your feelings, like, well, wow. Well, how did that become my goal? It was never my goal. But the way I want to explode this whole thing for myself anyway, is to say, I think goals are so often complete bullshit, because a lot of times, just for all the reasons that I've like talked about and other people have talked about for years, including, yes, sometimes you find that you're still sad about a goal that was never your goal. It was somebody else's goal for you, and you're disappointing, and you've disappointed yourself, and now that takes a piece out of you over time. That's kind of some bullshit. And you know what else is some bullshit? Is like, do you have any business making that particular goal? Like, what in your past, what in what you have done and decided, how you've rolled in life? I don't even mean like qualifications and some LinkedIn bullshit. I mean, like, if you were to say like, oh, I'm going to become an oncologist, and it's like, well, what do you know about becoming an oncologist or a lawyer or whatever it is? Are you in any state to make that goal? Well, if you are, that's cool. And just because you succeeded at a goal, I'm going to be controversial here, and I'm going to say, just because you quote unquote succeeded at a goal does not mean that it was ever a fucking good goal, let alone a good goal for you. It's just that goals are so fucking pounded into us, or me anyway, that I've started to push back about it, even in retrospect, and said, well, that was never a very good goal. So the part that I want to say here to somebody who's got an open heart is that if goals help you in terms of getting what you want in life, because those can be very different things, if goals help you get that, that's fine. But let's look at your track record. Let's look at your New Year's resolutions. Let's look at all of your cabbage soup diets. Let's look at all the half-assed efforts that you have made to reach some goal. Oh gosh, I read a fascinating thing Simon said this week about, I think it was Simon, not Matt Webb, but somebody's talking about, it's kind of along the lines of like optimizing for paper clips, but that idea of like when a measure becomes a goal, like it stops being a good measure.
Yes.
And I think that was involved with, especially with sports. I've read an interesting article about, are you optimizing for individual players to be very good, or are you optimizing for what those players bring out in each other? Because the things those players bring out in each other are going to be pretty elusive from a statistical standpoint. Whereas you could hire the best 5 basketball players because they all have the best stats, but it doesn't say anything about how they'll work together. I think that's a pretty good example of that, where if you get goal-brained, like you start like thinking, oh, I just need to achieve all my things. And it's like, I have to say, I think intentionality is a fuck ton more important than goals. Because whatever your dumb goddamn goals are, look at how you conducted yourself. All right. So if you went into something with some goal in mind, well, the thing is, whether or not you achieve that goal, let's use the word our parents used, whether or not you succeeded, like, how do you feel about how it went? Like, what all did you give up? Because now I am getting into that thing I'm a little bit touchy about, which is other people giving us goals. Like, how much shit did you give up in life to try and make somebody else happy with a goal that they kind of just put on you? I think that's some serious fucking bullshit. Whereas when you get older and you're allowed to run your own life just a little bit, introducing that idea of the intentionality kind of changes everything. Why are we taking this trip? Well, the reason we're taking this trip is it's vacation time, and what is the goal? Go have fun on vacation. But if I don't get my mind right, I will neither honor that reason nor succeed at that goal if I'm not conducting myself, if my intentionality is not right, if I'm not sort of plastic and open-minded about what we're doing. If my intentionalities are off track, I will rarely succeed at goals. And if I do, it'll probably be by accident. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I am trying to work in the side door thing I have about trying to not be hurtful and to trying to always be kind. I am kind of trying to work that in the side door, but goals can be so stupid and so self-involved and so like, and once you make a goal, like you're not supposed to change it, I guess. Like, is it considered cheating to change your goal? That goal you had no business ever making for yourself? Well, I guess what I'm doing here is beating up on goals. That's my straw man this week. But the reason I say it wraps around though, in a Venn diagram way or like an asteroids kind of way, is like, well, even if I don't succeed at my goal, is it possible I've succeeded at something else because of how I conducted myself? If I was able to be kind, if I was able just to be there as a warm body to stir the sauce, if I was there to be able to change a diaper, if I was there to be able to not complain this one time where I could have complained, that is all intentionality to me. If I'm just always driving toward the net on some kind of a desired outcome, well, there's a lot of people who are a real piece of shit that get a lot done. And I don't want to be that way. I'd rather people remember whether or not we succeeded at guessing the charades right. I hope people remember me as being a fun person to hang out with at the party. That's intentionality to me.
We got to stop goal maxing.
Goal. Oh, could it be goal smaxing? Because that's even uglier.
Oh, it's
like
worse.
ads the whiz. And the part that makes this extra mushy is it ties into another of our, I believe, shared favorite thought technologies, which is like, look at the chimneys. Like, look at the chimneys has that patina of unearned optimism to it. And I don't mean blinkered, dumb optimism. I mean more like, what if my intentionality was to hold my head up a little higher when I do this thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, when I'm trying to sort of imagine myself doing the thing, whatever the thing is, do I see myself doing it with dignity and skill? Am I being skillful in the way that I'm doing this? I don't know. It bums me out that so many people get so rigid and implastic, if that's a word, about, well, I got my goal now, or, whatever it is. I got my project. However you like think about all this stuff. And now I'm just hell bent for leather on like achieving this thing, this goal. And if I don't do that, I'm a failure. If I succeed, I'm a big winner. Now I'm a serial entrepreneur, like whatever it is. But like you leave this emotional effluvium trail that makes everybody hate you. You know what I discovered this week?
What?
Sam Altman's gay. I just thought I've been holding back. I did not text you that. It just seemed very important at some point that I let you know that this is the week I learned Sam Altman is gay.
This is not
because it seems like it would have an impact on what you think about me.
Oh,
I just discovered Sam Altman. And I know about the shirts. I know about the pop collars. I knew about all that, but it wasn't until I read that very good, very, very long Ronan Farrow article that I realized he's a gay man.
oh, then you've learned my favorite Sam Altman lore. Merlin, how did Sam Altman meet his husband?
I don't remember.
Oh my God! Really? Oh,
Wait. Remind me.
he met his husband in the hot tub of oh God! Oh, it's so. He at a
Did he suck the
Sam
jizz
Altman-
out of the drain?
Sam Altman met his husband in Peter Thiel's hot tub at a party,
Man,
and according to him, this
there's not enough sanitizing you could do to get me into Peter Thiel's hot tub.
there's
You know he loves the Lord.
so much.
Peter Thiel loves the Lord. He's God's maxing.
Oh, so there's been a lot of God's maxing this week.
I know. You
I
know
was
that
on
soldier
your
that got
internet.
saved on. There's that soldier that got saved on Good Friday, just like Jesus. God is good.